Bitcoin ETF approval. How to profit now before it's too late. After a decade of debate, the SEC has approved the first-ever Spot Bitcoin ETF. This is a watershed moment for democratizing access to crypto. The Bitcoin ETF is finally here. Billions are flooding in. Institutions are scrambling. And retail investors? They're asking one burning question. Will this make you rich or ruin your portfolio? Because here's the truth. Wall Street's playing a new game. And if you don't learn the rules by tomorrow, you could miss the biggest wealth transfer of this decade. But don't panic. In the next 15 minutes, I'll reveal the 3 secret strategies hedge funds are using right now to front-run this ETF frenzy. Strategies they don't want you to know. Stay tuned. What is a Bitcoin ETF? Let's cut through the jargon. A Bitcoin ETF is like a backstage pass to crypto, without the headaches of owning Bitcoin itself. Think of it this way. Buying Bitcoin directly? You're responsible for wallets, passwords, and praying hackers don't drain your life savings. But with a Bitcoin ETF, you click buy in your brokerage account, and institutions like BlackRock handle the rest. No tech nightmares, no sleepless nights. Now here's where it gets controversial. BlackRock charges 0.25% annually to hold your Bitcoin. Fidelity, 0.39%. Grayscale, a whopping 1.5%. Meanwhile, buying Bitcoin outright costs pennies. So why would anyone pay these fees? 2 words, institutional validation. For the first time, your grandma's IRA can buy Bitcoin through the same brokerage she uses for Apple stock. This isn't just convenience, it's a seismic shift in global finance. But here's the catch. When you buy an ETF, you don't own the Bitcoin. You own a piece of paper backed by Bitcoin. And if the music stops? If regulators crack down, that paper could burn faster than a Sam Bankman-Fried apology tweet. So, ETF self-custody? The answer depends on your risk tolerance and your appetite for generational wealth. But before you decide, you need to hear the 3 strategies that could turn this ETF chaos into your golden ticket. Starting right now. Historical context. To understand why this ETF approval is explosive, we need to rewind way back to 2013. The SEC rejects the Winklevoss Bitcoin ETF proposal, citing market manipulation risks. Back then, Bitcoin was a rebellious experiment, worth just $100. But the Winklevoss twins saw the future, and for a decade, regulators slammed the door. Fast forward to 2021, the SEC finally blinks, but with a catch. They approve futures-based Bitcoin ETFs, products tied to derivatives, not real Bitcoin. Institutional investors yawned, retail shrugged. And Bitcoin? It rallied, then crashed 60% in the 2022 crypto winter. But 2024? The real game begins. On January 10th, the SEC greenlights Spot Bitcoin ETFs, holding actual Bitcoin. $4 billion floods in on day 1. BlackRock's ETF becomes the fastest growing in history. And Bitcoin? It rockets 150% in 3 months, only to crash 20% days later. This is the ETF roller coaster. Hype, profit-taking, panic. But here's what Wall Street won't tell you. Every dip is a trap or opportunity depending on your strategy. Which brings us to right now, and the $250 billion question. Who's winning the ETF war? Current ETF landscape. Let's break down the ETF battlefield. First, the fee war. BlackRock charges 0.25%. Bitwise undercuts them at 0.20%. Grayscale? A greedy 1.5%. Grayscale's excuse? We're the OG crypto fund. But investors aren't buying it. They've dumped $6 billion from Grayscale's ETF since launch. Now meet the custodians, the giants holding your Bitcoin. Coinbase secures BlackRock's stash. Fidelity uses their own vaults. But here's the kicker. If Coinbase gets hacked, your ETF shares could vanish faster than FTX's ethics committee. Meanwhile, institutions are going all in. MicroStrategy just bought another $1 billion of Bitcoin. Their total stash? $10 billion. Why? CEO Michael Saylor says ETFs will suck up 10x more Bitcoin than miners can produce. Translation, supply shock incoming. And retail? Searches for how to buy Bitcoin ETF spiked 5,000% in January. Grandmas are YOLOing retirement funds into IBIT. But look closer, ETF trading volume hit $10 billion daily, while Bitcoin's price dropped. This is the dirty secret. ETFs aren't a magic buy button. They're a double-edged sword, fueling volatility, not stability. But volatility? That's where you profit. Coming up, the 3 strategies to exploit this chaos, including one that's already banked early adopters 427% in 6 weeks. Don't move! How to profit now. Enough talk. Let's get to the money moves. These 3 strategies could turn ETF chaos into generational wealth. Starting with the most ruthless tactic of all, Strategy 1, short-term trading. Wall Street's dirty secret? They're not buying ETFs for the long term. They're front-running the headlines, pumping and dumping on your emotions. Here's how to fight back. When ETF inflows spike, buy Bitcoin derivatives on Coinbase or Bybit. When CNBC screams new all-time highs, short the ETF ticker IBIT with perpetual futures. This isn't investing. It's guerrilla warfare. And the profit window? Closing fast! Strategy 2, long-term hodling. Not a thrill seeker? Then copy BlackRock's playbook, automate. Set up a 100-week DCA into IBIT or FBTC. But here's the hack. Hold ETFs in your Roth IRA. Why? Tax-free gains for life. Imagine buying Bitcoin at $40K and cashing out at $1 million without the IRS taking a dime. That's the power of playing the system. Strategy 3, altcoin leverage. The real jackpot? It's not Bitcoin. It's the altcoins primed to explode from ETF mania. Like Ethereum, up 80% as traders bet on the next ETF approval. Or Bitcoin miners like Riot and Mara, up 300% pre-halving. But the dark horse? MicroStrategy, the corporate Bitcoin whale holding $10 billion in BTC. Buy MSTR stock now and ride the ETF wave without touching crypto. These aren't theories. One trader turned 5K into 21K in 6 weeks using Strategy 3. Proof? Check the portfolio tracker linked below. Risks and red flags. Before you YOLO your life savings, listen closely. ETFs aren't a fairy tale. They're a deal with the devil. Risk 1. The fee trap. BlackRock takes 0.25% a year. Seems small? Over a decade, that's 10% of your gains gone. Meanwhile, holding real Bitcoin costs nothing. Choose wrong and fees will eat you alive. Risk 2, regulatory roulette. We're watching crypto markets closely. Translation, the SEC sued Coinbase. They'll come for ETFs next. One lawsuit, and your ETF shares could crash 50% overnight. Risk 3, fake ETF scams. Double your Bitcoin with the BlackRock ETF. No, that's a fake ad on Instagram. These cons drain wallets faster than SBF's lawyers. Rule #1, never click ETF links except in your brokerage. As crypto analyst Den warns, ETFs are safer, but not risk-free. Still want to play? Then you're ready for the final secret, how to predict the next ETF shockwave before it hits. Future predictions. The ETF era has just begun. But what's next? Let's gaze into the crypto crystal ball. Prediction 1. The 1.5 million Bitcoin. Bitcoin could reach to 1.5 million by 2030. ARK Invest's bold claim? It hinges on ETFs sucking up 20% of Bitcoin's supply. But here's the twist. If institutions keep buying at this pace, they'll own every Bitcoin by 2026. Supply shock? More like supply annihilation. Prediction 2. 30K nightmare, JP Morgan's warning. If ETF inflows stall or Bitcoin crashes to 30K. Why? Because right now, ETFs are buying 12 times more BTC than miners produce. Stop the buying, and the house of cards collapses. Prediction 3. The next domino. 2 dates to circle in blood red. April 2024, Bitcoin halving. Miners' rewards slashed. Price? Historically explodes. May 2024, Ethereum ETF decision. Approval? ETH rockets to $5K. Denial? Altcoins bleed. This isn't speculation. It's mathematics. And the equation screams one thing. Volatility is coming. Will you be predator or prey? Let's make this simple. 3 ways to profit from the ETF revolution. Trade the chaos. Short-term plays on ETF volatility. HODL smarter, DCA into tax-advantaged ETFs. Bet on altcoins, ride the ETF ripple effect to 10 times gains. But this isn't a game, it's a war. And you need ammo. Smash that like button if you're ready to conquer the ETF era. Subscribe and hit the bell, because the Ethereum ETF decision drops in days. Want the edge? Grab my free Bitcoin ETF cheat sheet right now. It reveals the 3 ETFs with the lowest fees. How to avoid the coming regulatory crackdown. The exact altcoins insiders are accumulating. Link in bio. No email required. Before you invest, secure your crypto with Ledger Nano X, the only wallet trusted by BlackRock. Use code CRYPTO20 for 20% off, because the next Mt. Gox could be tomorrow. This is your moment, the golden age of crypto. Will you watch from the sidelines, or strike while the iron's white hot? The clock's ticking.